this is the Weekend Jazz Update with Jashan De Silva. On this week's episode, it's about Grover Washington Jr., his biography and best hits. Born in Buffalo, New York in 1943, Grover showed an early love of music, taking up the saxophone as a young boy and quickly developing a tone that would become instantly recognizable. Over the years, he became a master at blending jazz with soul, funk and R&B, creating a sound that was both sophisticated and irresistibly groovy. Grover's albums are a journey through the evolution of modern jazz. His early work with Kudu records like Mr. Magic and Feel So Good brought him acclaim and showcased his smooth melodic approach to the saxophone. But it was his 1980 album Winelight that catapulted him into crossover fame, featuring the timeless hit Just the Two of Us, which still resonates with listeners today. Other standout albums like Skylarking and Soulful Strut further cemented his reputation as a pioneer of contemporary jazz. During this week's show, we're going to be exploring the stories behind these iconic recordings, uncovering what made Grover Washington Jr.'s music so enduring, and why his influence continues to inspire generations of musicians. From soulful grooves to heartfelt ballads, his music is a masterclass in emotion, rhythm, and technique. Born on December 12, 1943 in Buffalo, New York, Grover Washington Jr. was immersed in music from an early age. His mother was a church chorista and his father a talented saxophonist, surrounding young Grover with the sounds of jazz legends like Benny Goodman and Fletcher Henderson. At just 8 years old, his father gifted him a saxophone. That single act would set in motion a career that would forever transform contemporary jazz. By age 12, Grover was performing in clubs. He honed his craft touring with the Folklefts, and after a stint in the military, he moved to Philadelphia in 1967. The city's vibrant jazz scene became his proving ground. Collaborating with organists like Charles Earland and Johnny Hammond Smith, Washington built his reputation as a skilled sideman, recording for the Prestige label. Those early experiences shaped the musical dexterity and versatility that would define his career. The mid-1970s marked a turning point. Grover's 1975 album Mr. Magic was a commercial success, blending jazz improvisation with funk and R&B. But it was his 1980 album Winelight that catapulted him to international stardom. Featuring the hit single Just the Two of Us with vocals by Bill Withers, the track reached number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100, went platinum, and won a Grammy Award for Best R&B Song. Imagine that. Here was a jazz saxophonist topping the pop charts while keeping the integrity of his jazz roots intact. Grover was more than just a smooth jazz pioneer. He was an innovator who blended genres effortlessly. Tracks like Black Frost and Let It Flow for Dr. J showed his love for funky rhythms, catchy melodies, and soulful grooves. Washington's musical style was characterized by a velvety tone and melodic improvisation. Known for mastering alto, tenor, and soprano saxophones, he could express warmth, intimacy, and exuberance all in the same solo. Listeners often remark that his playing felt like a conversation. That ability to communicate through sound is one reason why his music still resonates decades later. Beyond the charts and accolades, Grover Washington Jr. was recognized for his contributions to jazz culture. In 1992, he was inducted into the Philadelphia Music Alliance Walk of Fame, a fitting tribute to a man whose music had become part of the city's identity. And though he passed away on December 17, 1999 at the age of 56, his influence continues through countless saxophonists, jazz musicians, and listeners that he inspired. What made Grover Washington Jr. unique wasn't just his technique, it was his soul. He could make a saxophone sound like a voice, capable of tenderness, joy, even playful mischief. Whether it was a nightclub, a concert hall, or a radio broadcast, his music created a sense of intimacy, as if the listener was right there with him, feeling every note. Winelight and songs like Just the Two of Us are now staples in films, commercials, and everyday life, cementing his place in both jazz history and popular culture. Grover Washington Jr. bridged gaps between genres, generations, and audiences, demonstrating that jazz could be both sophisticated and widely accessible. So that was some insight into the biography of Grover Washington Jr. And this is the Weekend Jazz Update with Jashan De Silva. On this week's episode, it's about Grover Washington Jr., his biography and best hits. Now it's time for some trending music news. FYC have just released their latest masterpiece, Falling From Earth. Born from years of collaboration and perseverance, this album is a testament to passion, artistry, and jazz mastery, and is hitting digital platforms, CD, and limited double LP vinyl now. This record features jazz heavyweights like 6-time Grammy nominee Mike Stern on guitar, Grammy-winning bassist Eddie Gomez, Kevin Axt on bass, and drummers Billy Drummond, Steve Hayes, and Carl Latham. Each track is a blend of soaring improvisation, intricate interplay, and deep emotional resonance, reflecting both the fragility and the strength of the human spirit. From the opening energy of Easy Off-Ramp and the reflective beauty of A Child Is Born, Falling From Earth gives listeners a chance to experience jazz as a living, breathing art form. Produced by John March, this independently financed project embodies patience, trust, and uncompromising musical vision. And that was some trending music news on the Weekend Jazz Update with Jashan De Silva. We're going for a short break. We'll be right back after that. When we come back, we're going to be talking about some of Grover Washington Jr.'s best albums of all time. Stay tuned. And this is the Weekend Jazz Update with Jashan De Silva. On this week's episode, it's about Grover Washington Jr., his biography and best hits. During this hour, we're going to be talking about some of his best albums of all time. Here's a quick recap of what's coming up. Let's start with Mr. Magic, Grover's breakthrough fourth album produced by the legendary Creed Taylor on Kudu Records. This record didn't just top jazz charts, it crossed over into pop consciousness. From the instantly recognizable title track to moody gems like Black Forest, Mr. Magic shows a seamless blend of melody and groove. Behind Grover's sax, Eric Gale, Bob James and the rhythm section create a sonic tapestry that's both sophisticated and accessible. Then there's Feel So Good, recorded in the same profile here, capturing Grover at the height of his electric funk period. From the cinematic moonstreams to the funky punch of Knucklehead, this album balances polish and adventure, layering textures without ever dulling the groove. It's a showcase of nuance, contrast and the kind of musicianship that keeps you listening closely. Finally, Live at the Bijou reminds us why Grover's live performances were legendary. Recorded in Philadelphia in 1977, this album radiates energy, improvisation, and the joy of a band in sync with each other. These three albums together offer a complete picture: the groove, the artistry, and the live thrill that define Grover Washington Jr. During this hour, we're going to be talking about some of his best albums of all time. We're spotlighting three landmark albums: Mr. Magic from 1975, Feel So Good also from 1975, and a 1977 live gem, Live at the Bijou. Three albums, each telling a story of evolution, experimentation, and pure groove. Let's start with Mr. Magic, Grover's fourth studio album released in early 1975 on Kudu Records, produced by the legendary Creed Taylor. This was a breakthrough, an album that didn't just top jazz and soul charts but even cracked the top 10 on the pop charts. That kind of crossover success was rare, and it firmly planted Grover in the public consciousness. Now when you press play on Mr. Magic, the title track hits you first, a sleek, danceable groove that feels immediate. It's the kind of song you can nod your head to without thinking, yet the musicianship underneath is exquisite. Behind Grover's tenor sax, you've got Eric Gale's nimble guitar, Bob James' immaculate arrangements, and a rhythm section that practically breathes funk. Tracks like Black Frost slow things down, casting a shadowy contemplative mood and giving the listener space to feel. And pieces like Earth Tones and Passion Flower, they're a playground for ensemble interplay, letting each musician stretch, improvise and shine. Critics sometimes mention that the album is polished, strings and arrangements soften the hard edges, but here's the thing: the solos so, and the groove never stops inviting you in. Mr. Magic crystallizes Grover's sound, melody meets groove, accessible yet undeniably jazz. Moving along the calendar, still in 1975 came Feel So Good, a companion piece that many consider the apex of Grover's electric funk era. Recorded at Van Gelder Studios, it carried the same production dream team: Creed Taylor at the helm, Bob James orchestrating his magic, and a roster of top-tier musicians. Each track earns its place, whether it's atmospheric open at the sea line, the hard funk of Knucklehead, or the reflective, almost cinematic moonstreams. Grover's playing here is a masterclass in contrast. On one track he is muscular, earthy, laying down funky grooves. On the next, ethereal and lyrical, teasing melodies that float over Bob James' lush arrangements. Strings, horns, ambient textures, none of it overwhelms. So this is a great album to contrast with Mr. Magic. Where Mr. Magic leans into grit and raw groove, Feel So Good explores polish and cinematic breadth. Play Knucklehead against Moonstreams and you'll hear it. Funk and lyricism coexisting in perfect tension. And now, let's step off the polished studio floor and into the live arena with Live at the Bijou, recorded in May 1977 at Philadelphia's Bijou Cafe. If the previous album showed Grover's control, his finesse and his studio craft, this one shows his heart on stage. Released that December, it became one of his most celebrated live recordings, topping jazz charts and climbing high on the soul charts. Here's the difference with the live record: risk and spontaneity. On Live at the Bijou, the band breathes, solos extend, dynamics shift unexpectedly, and the audience interaction is audible. Cheers, claps, the subtle electricity of being in the room. The ensemble expands also. Violinists John play, keyboardists, flutes, layered textures that give the performance a richness you can almost see. So whether you're nodding along in your living room or letting the notes wash over you in a midnight drive, these three albums illustrate a journey. Mr. Magic, the groove crystallized, crossover achieved. Feel So Good, polish meets funk, mastery of mood and arrangement. And Live at the Bijou, risk, spontaneity and the joy of improvisation in full bloom. Grover Washington Jr. wasn't just a smooth jazz pioneer, he was a master of melody, a funk innovator, and a live performer who could make every note count. So that was some insight into some of Grover Washington Jr.'s best albums of all time, and this is the Weekend Jazz Update with Jashan De Silva. On this week's episode, it's about Grover Washington Jr., his biography and best hits. Now it's time for some trending music news. Candace Springs is back with a brand new album, Lady in Satin, out now on SRP Records. This is her fifth album, a glorious tribute to Billie Holiday and an iconic 1958 record of the same name. But Candace makes it entirely her own. Recorded with the 60-piece Portuguese ensemble Orquestra Clásica de Espinho, this 12-track journey blends timeless jazz vocals with luxurious orchestral arrangements. From the opening ballad You've Changed to the closing masterwork Glad to Be Unhappy, tracks include classics like You Don't Know What Love Is, But Beautiful and Violets for Your Furs, all reimagined with fresh orchestral textures, French horns, harp, timpani and more, creating peaks and valleys of sonic beauty. Candace says, "From the minute I sang with the orchestra, I knew it was something magical." Critics are raving, calling her voice a natural old soul. And with mentors like Prince having praised her tone, it's clear Candace has the chops and the heart. Don't miss Lady in Satin, a luminous, heartfelt journey from Billie Holiday's heart through Candace Spring's voice. And that was some trending music news on the Weekend Jazz Update with Jashan De Silva. We're going for a short break. We'll be right back after that. When we come back, we're going to be talking about more of Grover Washington Jr.'s best albums of all time. Stay tuned.